The Supreme Court just recently overturned Roe v Wade, which is basically a decision involving abortion. What you can or cannot do with your body. And people are upset about it. Protests continue, protests erupt, and to me, what's important here is this type of action by people who are calling themselves the Supreme Court could point out to you as a human being how many decisions you're actually making in this world, how free you actually are. How free are you in the freest country in the world? You don't get to make a decision about your body. You don't get to make a decision about your life, meaning a child would impact your life fantastically. I mean, huge impact on your life. You don't get to decide that. Let's see here. You don't get to decide where you're standing in public. You don't get to decide what you're doing there. A beloved saxophonist gets arrested and the mayor says, I'm proud of my officers for arresting this guy. So if you're and by the way, this guy's called Dancing is Happiness guy. So this is, this is somebody that people seem to enjoy, right? He's been out there for years. He enjoys his activity, but who gets to decide what his activity is out here in public, in the subway? Who gets to decide that? Not all the people that support him, which could be hundreds of thousands of people, not them, not me, not you, not him. This guy right here, who's calling himself a mayor, and these guys right here who are calling themselves cops, are deciding what happens to this guy. Not you, not me, not him. So how free are we? And who is it that decides what you do with your body? Not you, not me, not a doctor. People who call themselves legislators, people who call themselves police, people who call themselves the Supreme Court. Now, who decides what you're going to wear? Let's say you're going to school, right? Texas school district bans hooded clothing and dresses for most students, saying it will promote professionalism. Now, once again, when you say something like Texas school district, it's not fair to the logical side of your mind. It's not fair to you understanding the world. Because Texas school district does not exist. It is people who call themselves the Texas school district. That's who exists. See, here's a district superintendent, Justin Terry. So let me break it down to you. This guy and his buddies, this guy and his friends, this guy and his people ban hooded clothing. This guy right here and the people he works with are banning certain clothing items. They are determining what you wear to school if you're a kid. If you're a parent, they're determining what your kid wears to school. So if your son or daughter has a SpongeBob hoodie that he loves or they love and they want to wear it to school, they can't do that because this guy right here is telling you you can't do it. And what is it that how can he do that? How can he tell you, your kids, and you what your kids are going to wear? Right here. Violence. Violence. When your kid shows up at school, right? They pull the kid out of school. They forcibly remove him. And if he doesn't take his shirt off, they send him home. Meaning they might put him in the back of the police car and take him home. If you don't come pick him up. Here's some people. Okay, so let's see here. You can't decide what you want to do with your body, right? You can't decide what you're going to do in the subway. You can't decide what your kid's going to wear to school, and your kid's not going to decide what he wears to school. Florida couple barred from putting small cross on lawn after it's deemed prohibited lawn ornament. So you own your lawn, right? It's your lawn. You're in a free country. You can do whatever you want, right? No. You can't put a small cross on your lawn. So you can't decide what goes in your front yard. You can't decide what your kid's wearing to school. Your kid can't decide what they're wearing to school. You can't decide where you're going to stand and what you're going to do on a public transit system. You can't decide what you're going to do with your own body. So what exactly are you deciding here? Here's a case where a dad pummels an Ohio man accused of killing his son. So guy gets his son killed, right? And you can't decide what happens to the guy. You can't decide what happens to the guy who killed your son. You can't take any action that the authorities don't want you to take. And when I say authorities, I mean people who call themselves authorities. And why can't you? Because these people who call themselves authorities will hurt you. They will violence you. Every decision around you that's being made is being made by people who call themselves authorities, by people who call themselves officials, using the instrument of violence. So it doesn't matter how many people go out in the street. It doesn't matter how many people stand. Look, here's people standing in front of a Supreme Court. It doesn't matter how many people are standing out there. The people who call themselves the Supreme Court are deciding things for you. The people who calls himself a superintendent of schools is deciding things for you. The person who calls himself the mayor is deciding things for you. The people who call themselves a homeowners association, code enforcement, are deciding for you. A person who calls himself a judge and a person who calls himself a deputy is deciding things for you. You're not deciding them. You're not making very many decisions. And when you do make a decision, it's based upon you not getting hurt. In other words, I'm going to send my kid to school not wearing a hoodie because I don't want him to get expelled. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want him to get called to the office. I don't want him to get suspended. I don't want him to get hurt by this guy. Right here, I'm not going to play my instrument on the subway like a bunch of people want me to because I'm going to get hurt. I'm not going to put a cross in my lawn because I don't want to get fined and hurt financially. And then when I don't pay the fine, they're going to come after me, meaning the people who are levying the fine, the people who are levying, telling me not to put my cross are going to hurt me. They're going to hurt me. I can't decide what happens to the guy who killed my son because they're going to hurt me. People are going to hurt me. The people who are telling me I can't make my own decisions are going to hurt me. So your whole life, almost every decision you make is controlled, and it is controlled by people who are threatening you with violence.